In the year 2347, humanity faced extinction at the hands of an unknown alien race. But sometimes, amidst the chaos of war, destiny takes an unexpected turn. This is a story of impossible choices, where enemies become lovers, and love becomes the most powerful weapon of all. When Captain Marcus Reed discovers that his greatest adversary is not what she seems, he must choose between duty and desire. Their forbidden connection could either save or doom both species. The galaxy will never be the same again. Subscribe now to witness this epic tale of love and war across the stars. The first time Captain Marcus Reed saw her was during the devastating assault on Epsilon 4. His unit had been pinned down by relentless plasma fire, taking cover behind the crumbling ruins of what once was a promising human colony. Through the haze of smoke and falling debris, he spotted her leading the enemy charge with an elegance that belied the destruction she commanded. Her form was distinctly alien yet mesmerizing, with skin that shimmered like liquid sapphire and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly intelligence. Unlike the faceless hordes they'd encountered before, she fought with purpose and precision, every movement calculated yet fluid. As their forces clashed in brutal combat, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this warrior than met the eye. The reports had called them the VRYNN, a mysterious species that had appeared without warning and begun systematically wiping out human colonies along the outer rim. But nothing in those clinical documents prepared him for the raw intensity of facing their leader in battle. She moved through the battlefield like a force of nature, her crystalline weapon weaving patterns of destruction that seemed almost artistic in their execution. Yet what struck Marcus most wasn't her lethal efficiency. It was the momentary pause when their eyes met across the chaos, and he saw something unmistakably human in her expression: hesitation. The aftermath of that encounter left deep scars, both physical and emotional. Marcus's unit suffered heavy casualties, and the survivors were haunted by the memory of those glowing blue warriors who fought with such terrifying coordination. Intelligence reports flooded in from other sectors, painting a picture of an implacable enemy whose motivations remained frustratingly opaque. The VRYNN attacked without warning, their strikes precise and devastating, leaving no survivors to explain their purpose. Military analysts speculated about resource acquisition or territorial expansion, but these theories felt inadequate when confronted with the reality of their encounters. What kind of species would develop technology capable of bending matter itself to their will, only to use it for seemingly random acts of aggression? Weeks turned into months as humanity struggled to mount a defense against an enemy they barely understood. Marcus found himself promoted to lead a new special operations team tasked with gathering intelligence on the VRYNN. Each mission brought them closer to the truth while simultaneously highlighting how little they truly knew. The enemy's tactics evolved with alarming speed, adapting to human strategies almost before they could be implemented. It was during one particularly grueling operation near the edge of known space that Marcus experienced his second encounter with the VRYNN commander. This time, rather than simply retreating after achieving their objectives, she lingered on the battlefield, her luminous form illuminated by the fires of burning human ships. Through enhanced optics, Marcus watched as she knelt beside fallen human soldiers, her movements gentle and deliberate, almost reverent. The image clashed violently with everything they believed about their enemy, planting seeds of doubt that would grow into full-blown questions about the nature of this conflict. As weeks stretched into months, Marcus became increasingly obsessed with understanding the VRYNN's true nature. He pored over every scrap of data collected from their encounters, searching for patterns or clues that might explain their seemingly contradictory behavior. The military brass dismissed his inquiries as distractions from their primary mission objective: total victory against the alien threat. But Marcus couldn't ignore what he'd witnessed: the way their leader had paused during that initial engagement, the tenderness with which she'd examined their fallen comrades. These weren't mindless killing machines. They operated with intention and perhaps even compassion. His breakthrough came unexpectedly during a routine analysis of captured VRYNN technology. While examining a damaged communication device, his team discovered fragments of encoded transmissions that, when partially decoded, revealed something extraordinary. The VRYNN weren't invaders at all. They were refugees fleeing a catastrophic event in their home system. Their attacks on human colonies weren't acts of aggression but desperate attempts to secure resources needed to sustain their population. The revelation hit Marcus like a physical blow. Everything they'd assumed about the enemy was wrong. The so-called invasions were actually carefully planned evacuations, targeting locations rich in specific minerals crucial for maintaining their unique biological needs. Most shocking of all was the discovery that the VRYNN had attempted peaceful contact multiple times, only to be met with preemptive strikes from human forces operating under flawed intelligence. The weight of this knowledge pressed heavily on Marcus's conscience, forcing him to confront the uncomfortable truth that humanity might be the real aggressors in this conflict. His superiors, however, refused to accept these findings, dismissing them as enemy misinformation designed to undermine morale. The orders remained clear: continue offensive operations until the alien threat was neutralized. Fate intervened during Operation Cerulean Strike, a high-risk mission to capture a VRYNN command center located on a remote asteroid. Marcus's team infiltrated the facility under cover of darkness, moving through corridors that pulsed with living light, the organic architecture characteristic of VRYNN technology. They reached the central chamber just as the alarm sounded, finding themselves face-to-face with the very being who had occupied Marcus's thoughts for months. Rather than ordering an immediate attack, she raised a single hand in a gesture that somehow conveyed both authority and restraint. Through their translation devices, broken words began to form meaning between them. She introduced herself as Kilira, first consort of the VRYNN collective, and immediately launched into an explanation of their dire circumstances. Their home star had gone supernova prematurely, destroying their civilization and forcing them to seek refuge among the stars. The mineral compositions of human colonies matched crucial elements needed to sustain their bioorganic technology and prevent their species' extinction. As she spoke, Marcus noticed subtle changes in her bioluminescent patterns, colors shifting in ways that seemed to emphasize different points of her narrative. Without realizing it, he found himself responding to these visual cues, nodding at certain moments and asking clarifying questions. Their connection transcended language barriers, building bridges of understanding through shared body language and emotional resonance. When Kilira revealed that they had identified Earth as possessing the largest deposits of necessary minerals, Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. The implications were staggering. If humanity continued its current course, they would be defending their homeworld against beings fighting for their very survival. The room fell silent as both leaders processed this revelation, their personal connection deepening even as their respective duties demanded opposing actions. For the first time, Marcus allowed himself to see Kilira not as an enemy commander, but as a desperate leader trying to save her people, much like himself. Their clandestine meetings became a dangerous dance of diplomacy and deception. Marcus would fabricate mission reports to explain his disappearances, while Kilira manipulated her own fleet's movements to create windows of opportunity for their encounters. Each meeting took place in the shadowy borderlands between their territories, aboard abandoned space stations or within the protective embrace of asteroid fields. Through these interactions, Marcus learned that Kilira's people possessed a complex social structure based on harmonic resonance, their bioluminescent displays serving as both communication and emotional expression. He discovered that her position as first consort meant far more than military leadership. She was essentially the collective consciousness of her species, her decisions carrying the weight of billions of lives. The irony wasn't lost on Marcus that despite their technological superiority, the VRYNN valued individual connection and consensus building above all else. Their conversations ranged from tactical discussions to philosophical debates about the nature of survival and sacrifice. Kilira explained how their biological need for specific minerals wasn't just about physical sustenance, but maintained the delicate balance of their ecosystem-based society. In return, Marcus shared stories of humanity's struggles and triumphs, painting a picture of a species driven by both incredible potential and devastating flaws. Their growing intimacy created an impossible situation. With each passing day, their professional responsibilities became harder to reconcile with their personal connection. During one particularly intense exchange, Kilira demonstrated her people's version of laughter, a cascading ripple of light across her skin that made Marcus realize how much joy had been missing from his life. Yet even as they found solace in each other's company, the looming threat of discovery cast a long shadow over their relationship. Every stolen moment carried the risk of exposure, potentially triggering consequences neither could afford to face. The turning point came during the Battle of Delta Centauri, where both sides committed their remaining forces in what appeared to be a final, decisive confrontation. Marcus found himself torn between loyalty to his species and the knowledge that continuing this war would result in mutual annihilation. As human and VRYNN fleets clashed in spectacular displays of firepower, he received simultaneous orders from both commands, his superiors demanding an all-out assault on Kalira's flagship, while she pleaded for a chance to broadcast their shared discoveries to both fleets. The cacophony of battle faded into background noise as Marcus stood on the bridge of his cruiser, staring at the tactical display showing Kalira's vulnerable position. He knew that following orders would mean the end of everything they had built together, but disobeying them risked court-martial and the loss of any chance to broker peace. The seconds stretched into eternity as he weighed the lives of billions against protocol and duty. Finally, making a decision that would define the rest of his existence, Marcus ordered his communications officer to establish an open channel to both fleets. As the transmission connected, he activated the visual feed, allowing both human and VRYNN forces to see their commanders standing side by side. The shocked silence that followed was broken only by the sound of weapons ceasing fire throughout the battlefield. Kalira stepped forward, her bioluminescent patterns shifting through a spectrum of diplomatic colors, while Marcus translated her words into terms that resonated with human sensibilities. Together, they presented irrefutable evidence of the VRYNN's peaceful intentions and the tragic misunderstanding that had led to months of unnecessary bloodshed. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Cheers erupted from both sides as soldiers who had been preparing to die found hope in the possibility of coexistence. Yet even as the immediate crisis passed, Marcus knew that convincing the entrenched military-industrial complexes of both species to embrace this new reality would require unprecedented courage and sacrifice. The ceasefire marked the beginning of an even more challenging phase, transforming temporary truce into lasting peace. Marcus and Kalira established a joint command center on a neutral moon, where representatives from both species worked tirelessly to build mutual understanding. The process proved excruciatingly slow, hampered by centuries of evolutionary divergence and cultural differences. Simple concepts like personal space or hierarchical structures required exhaustive explanations, while fundamental aspects of biology and social organization often defied easy translation. Yet amidst these challenges, their personal bond continued to strengthen. Kalira introduced Marcus to the VRYNN concept of resonance bonding, a form of connection that went beyond physical touch to encompass shared experiences and emotional states. Through careful guidance, she helped him attune to the subtle vibrations of her species' communication, allowing them to communicate on levels that transcended spoken language. These intimate moments of connection provided crucial insights into each other's perspectives, enabling them to navigate diplomatic obstacles with greater empathy. They discovered that many apparent conflicts stemmed from misinterpretations rather than genuine disagreements. For instance, human notions of property rights clashed with the VRYNN's communal approach to resource management, while concepts of individual achievement versus collective progress required careful mediation. Their relationship became a living example of successful interspecies cooperation, inspiring others to overcome their prejudices and fears. However, not everyone welcomed this newfound understanding. Powerful factions on both sides viewed their alliance with suspicion, spreading rumors of betrayal and manipulation. Some human officers accused Marcus of compromising security, while conservative VRYNN council members questioned Kalira's judgment in trusting an outsider. Despite these challenges, their commitment to peace never wavered, strengthened by countless quiet moments of shared vulnerability and trust. As weeks turned into months, Marcus and Kalira faced increasingly complex challenges in their quest for sustainable peace. Resource allocation emerged as a particularly thorny issue, with both species requiring access to the same limited materials. The VRYNN's bioorganic technology needed specific mineral compounds to function, while human expansion relied on similar resources for industrial development. Their solution came through innovative thinking and compromise, establishing hybrid facilities where both species could work together to extract and process materials in ways that benefited both civilizations. These joint ventures not only addressed practical needs but also fostered genuine collaboration between their peoples. Technological exchange programs blossomed, with humans learning to adapt VRYNN's elegant solutions to ecological challenges, while teaching their allies about mechanical engineering and digital systems. Yet the path forward remained fraught with obstacles. An incident involving a malfunctioning VRYNN environmental processor nearly caused a diplomatic crisis when it contaminated a human agricultural colony. Marcus and Kalira worked around the clock to contain the damage, coordinating emergency response teams from both species. The experience highlighted the importance of developing common safety protocols and emergency procedures that accounted for both biological and mechanical systems. Their personal relationship deepened through these trials, forged in the crucible of shared responsibility and mutual support. During late-night strategy sessions, they discovered unexpected parallels between their cultures. The VRYNN's harmonic decision-making processes bore striking similarities to human democratic institutions, while human artistic expressions resonated with the VRYNN's use of light and color as communication. These revelations helped bridge cultural gaps and build genuine appreciation between their peoples. However, their success attracted dangerous attention. Shadowy figures from both governments began monitoring their activities, viewing their effectiveness as a threat to traditional power structures. Anonymous threats and sabotage attempts became increasingly common, forcing them to implement strict security measures while maintaining transparency in their operations. The conspiracy against their peace efforts culminated in a carefully orchestrated ambush during a diplomatic summit on Europa Station. As Marcus and Kalira prepared to present their comprehensive peace proposal to combined human VRYNN leadership, saboteurs triggered a cascade of system failures that plunged the station into chaos. Emergency bulkheads sealed shut, separating delegates from their security details, while artificial gravity fluctuations sent equipment and personnel tumbling through corridors. Amidst the confusion, Marcus recognized the distinctive energy signatures of classified human Black Ops weapons systems, tools supposedly decommissioned years ago. Kalira's bioluminescent warning patterns confirmed his suspicions when she detected traces of VRYNN military-grade disruptors in the attack vectors. Someone had orchestrated this disaster using weapons from both sides, intending to frame each species for attacking the other. Working in perfect tandem born from months of partnership, they coordinated evacuation efforts while tracing the attack's origin. Marcus's tactical training complemented Kalira's intuitive grasp of spatial resonance, allowing them to anticipate danger zones and guide civilians to safety. Their escape route led them to an isolated maintenance shaft where they discovered the mastermind behind the attack, a rogue admiral from Earth's Strategic Command working with a renegade VRYNN faction. The conspirators had hoped to reignite hostilities by assassinating both peace negotiators during what would appear to be a mutual strike. Instead, they found themselves facing the very partnership they sought to destroy. With evidence recording devices active, Marcus and Kalira forced the traitors to confess their plans, capturing undeniable proof of their crimes. The incident transformed from potential disaster into a catalyst for deeper unity, as both species witnessed firsthand how their cooperation could overcome even the most determined opposition. Their handling of the crisis earned them unprecedented public support, silencing many critics and strengthening their position as leaders of the peace movement. The aftermath of the Europa Station incident marked a significant shift in galactic politics. Public opinion on both sides swung decisively in favor of peace, forcing previously resistant government officials to reconsider their positions. Marcus and Kalira capitalized on this momentum by initiating a series of unprecedented cultural exchange programs. They organized joint exploration missions to uncharted regions of space, where mixed teams of humans and VRYNN scientists worked together to study newly discovered phenomena. These missions yielded groundbreaking discoveries about subspace resonance fields and quantum entanglement principles that neither species could have achieved alone. Educational initiatives flourished, with universities establishing interspecies research departments and collaborative degree programs. Young humans learned to interpret VRYNN harmonic languages, while VRYNN students mastered human scientific methodologies. The resulting cross-pollination of ideas sparked innovations in fields ranging from medicine to environmental science. Their personal relationship evolved alongside these institutional changes, becoming a symbol of hope and possibility. Kalira introduced Marcus to the VRYNN concept of luminous bonding, a ceremonial recognition of deep connection that involved synchronized bioluminescent displays. During one particularly memorable evening aboard their shared command vessel, they participated in this ancient ritual, their forms merging in a dance of light that transcended species boundaries. The experience profoundly affected both their peoples, demonstrating that intimacy and understanding could bridge even the widest evolutionary gaps. However, their success attracted new challenges. The rapid integration of cultures led to economic disruptions as traditional industries struggled to adapt to combined technologies. Social tensions emerged as some individuals resisted change, clinging to outdated prejudices. Marcus and Kalira responded by establishing mediation councils that drew upon both species' strengths in conflict resolution, creating hybrid approaches to dispute settlement that proved remarkably effective. Their leadership style, characterized by mutual respect and shared decision-making, became a model for interspecies governance. As their relationship deepened, Marcus and Kalira faced a dilemma unique to their situation: the biological imperative of their species' reproduction cycles. VRYNN physiology operated on complex harmonic frequencies that aligned with cosmic events, while human biological clocks followed more conventional patterns. Their medical teams worked tirelessly to find common ground, developing revolutionary hybrid gestation chambers that could accommodate both species' requirements. The breakthrough came through combining VRYNN biocrystalline technology with human genetic engineering techniques, creating an environment where their DNA could safely interact and develop. The prospect of offspring that would represent a true fusion of their species filled them with equal parts excitement and trepidation. They knew that raising children in such a politically charged environment would be challenging, but the potential benefits outweighed the risks. Their first child, a remarkable being who exhibited characteristics of both species, became a living testament to the possibilities of interspecies cooperation. The child's ability to naturally translate between human speech and VRYNN harmonic communication opened new avenues for diplomatic relations, while their unique perspective on both cultures helped bridge lingering misunderstandings. This development coincided with a major milestone in their peace efforts: the establishment of New Horizon Colony, a jointly governed settlement that served as a model for future interspecies communities. Located on a terraformed moon orbiting a binary star system, the colony featured architecture that blended human structural engineering with VRYNN organic growth patterns. Its success demonstrated that their species could not only coexist but thrive together, creating something greater than the sum of their parts. However, their achievements didn't go unchallenged. Conservative elements from both societies viewed their family as a threat to pureblood lineage and traditional values. Protest movements gained traction, fueled by fear-mongering media campaigns and disinformation. Marcus and Kalira responded by opening their home to visitors, allowing people from both species to witness firsthand the harmony possible through understanding and acceptance. The political landscape shifted dramatically as the success of New Horizon Colony inspired similar initiatives across settled space. Marcus and Kalira found themselves at the forefront of a movement that transcended mere peace negotiations, evolving into a comprehensive restructuring of galactic governance. They proposed the creation of the United Species Council, an organization where representation was based not on military power or economic influence, but on each species' contribution to collective knowledge and cultural diversity. This radical approach initially met resistance from established power structures, but grassroots support from both human and VRYNN populations forced reluctant leaders to participate. Their combined influence facilitated breakthroughs in areas previously stalled by bureaucracy and prejudice. Medical researchers developed treatments that leveraged VRYNN bioresonance healing techniques with human pharmaceutical advancements, resulting in cures for diseases that had plagued both species for generations. Environmental scientists worked together to reverse ecological damage on several struggling planets, applying VRYNN's sophisticated ecosystem management to restore balance. Their personal sacrifices became more pronounced as their roles expanded beyond military and diplomatic functions. Days stretched into nights filled with council meetings, policy reviews, and crisis management. Yet even during the most stressful periods, they maintained their connection through small rituals, sharing meals in their private quarters, watching their child grow stronger each day, and stealing moments alone to reaffirm their commitment to each other and their shared vision. These intimate moments provided crucial grounding, reminding them why they had chosen this difficult path. The transformation extended beyond official channels into everyday life. Mixed-species neighborhoods sprang up around major spaceports, while restaurants began offering fusion cuisine that combined human culinary traditions with VRYNN nutritional requirements. Art galleries showcased works that merged human visual arts with VRYNN light-based expression, creating entirely new forms of aesthetic experience. Their relationship served as both inspiration and blueprint for these developments, demonstrating that meaningful connection required neither conformity nor assimilation, but rather celebration of differences while finding common ground. Despite their successes, Marcus and Kalira knew that true peace required addressing the root causes of conflict between their species. They initiated a comprehensive review of historical grievances, creating joint investigation teams to examine past encounters between humans and VRYNN. These efforts uncovered disturbing patterns of misinformation and manipulation by shadowy organizations on both sides that had deliberately escalated tensions for profit or power. The most shocking revelation came from decrypting ancient VRYNN archives, which revealed that humanity's expansion into space had unknowingly triggered defensive protocols in dormant VRYNN outposts. These automated systems, designed to protect their species during their exodus from their dying star system, had interpreted human colonization efforts as hostile incursions. The resulting chain reaction of automated responses and human countermeasures had spiraled out of control, culminating in the devastating war that nearly destroyed both civilizations. Armed with this understanding, they developed a systematic approach to dismantling these legacy systems while implementing new protocols for first contact situations. Their solution involved creating a network of interspecies observation posts staffed by both human and VRYNN personnel, equipped with advanced detection systems capable of distinguishing between genuine threats and benign exploration. This initiative faced significant resistance from military-industrial complexes that had grown fat on decades of conflict, but public pressure and economic incentives eventually forced compliance. The process of reconciliation extended beyond practical measures to include profound cultural shifts. They established truth and reconciliation circles where veterans from both sides could share their experiences and heal old wounds. These gatherings often dissolved into tears and embraces as former enemies realized they had been pawns in someone else's game. Their personal journey mirrored this process of healing and growth. Marcus learned to interpret the subtle variations in Kalira's bioluminescent patterns, understanding how her emotional states manifested in different color combinations and intensities. In return, she adapted to human expressions of affection, finding beauty in gestures that initially seemed crude compared to her species' refined harmonic displays. Their bedroom became a sanctuary where these cultural exchanges took on deeply intimate dimensions, each discovering new ways to express love and devotion that honored both their heritage and their union. The culmination of their efforts arrived with the signing of the Galactic Concordance, a comprehensive treaty that redefined relationships between species across known space. Hosted aboard a massive space station constructed through combined human and VRYNN engineering, the ceremony brought together leaders from numerous civilizations, many of whom had observed humanity and the VRYNN's journey toward peace with cautious optimism. Marcus and Kalira stood together at the center of the Grand Assembly Hall, their presence embodying the possibilities of interspecies cooperation. The document they signed contained not just articles of peace but detailed frameworks for shared governance, resource management, and cultural preservation. It established universal principles of mutual respect and sustainable development, while acknowledging each species' unique contributions to the galactic community. As they affixed their marks, Marcus's electronic signature, accompanied by Kalira's harmonic resonance pattern, permanently etched into the document's crystalline surface. A wave of celebration swept through the gathered dignitaries. Their achievement represented more than the end of a single conflict. It marked the beginning of a new era in interstellar relations. The impact rippled outward, inspiring similar agreements between other species and fostering unprecedented levels of cooperation in addressing common challenges like stellar phenomena threats and resource sustainability. Their personal relationship evolved alongside these institutional changes, reaching new depths of intimacy and understanding. They developed a hybrid communication method that combined spoken language with harmonic resonance, allowing them to convey complex emotions and ideas with unprecedented clarity. This innovation spread beyond their personal interactions, becoming a standard for interspecies diplomacy. Their home, once a simple quarters aboard a command vessel, transformed into a vibrant cultural center where representatives from dozens of species gathered to share knowledge and forge connections. Walls adorned with both human art and VRYNN light sculptures created a space where diverse traditions harmonized beautifully. Even their child grew into a remarkable ambassador of this new era, naturally bridging gaps between cultures and facilitating understanding through their unique perspective. Yet their success also brought new responsibilities, as they found themselves increasingly called upon to mediate disputes and provide guidance to emerging interspecies partnerships throughout the galaxy. Years later, as Marcus and Kalira stood on the observation deck of their shared command vessel, watching the twin suns of New Horizon rise over a thriving interspecies city, they reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The view before them represented everything they had fought for: spires of human architecture intertwined with VRYNN organic structures, streets bustling with beings of countless species working and living together in harmony. Their child, now grown and serving as a respected diplomat in their own right, joined them, completing a circle that had begun with war and misunderstanding. The galaxy had changed fundamentally since their first encounter, with the United Species Council overseeing unprecedented levels of cooperation and mutual prosperity. Long-standing conflicts between other species had been resolved through the frameworks they established, while new civilizations emerging into space found ready allies rather than suspicious neighbors. Their personal relationship had weathered every challenge, growing stronger through shared adversity and triumph. Kalira's bioluminescent patterns, once a source of wonder for Marcus, now flowed in familiar rhythms that spoke directly to his soul. He found himself instinctively responding to her harmonic expressions, their connection transcending both species' limitations. As they watched their descendants, a new generation of hybrids blending traits from multiple species, playing in the gardens below, they knew their legacy would endure far beyond their lifetimes. The galaxy had learned that strength lay not in dominance or separation, but in embracing diversity and forging connections across differences. Their story served as both cautionary tale and shining example, proof that even in the darkest moments of conflict, the light of understanding could prevail. As the suns climbed higher, casting their combined light across a world transformed by peace and cooperation, Marcus turned to Kalira, their bond as strong as ever. Their journey had been long and difficult, but every sacrifice had been worth it to create a future where their children could live without fear of war. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of love and adventure across the stars. Subscribe button appears on screen with text. Don't miss our next epic tale. Subscribe now.